Country Club in Elma School, where we're big enough to service you and small enough to remember your name.
The Michelin X1 with a 6-year unlimited mileage tread life warranty. It gives you better wet traction than any rain tire, plus control in any driving condition. After all, it hasn't rained that much in years.
Hey, Ma, you got the real Ocean Spray.
Your family knows the difference between Ocean Spray Cranberry Juice Cocktail and the others.
Hey, you got the real Ocean Spray.
Yeah, but she got the cheap chips.
Next time, make it the real Ocean Spray. Crave the wave.
This is very appetizing. And this is very appetizing. Ramada serves wonderful meals. Holiday Inn serves wonderful meals. These are tasty dishes, and these are tasty dishes. But room service here will earn you points on prizes on the Ramada Frequent Traveler program, while room service here will earn you nothing. And maybe that's why last year 23 million people chose Ramada over Holiday Inn. All things being equal, we're better. So call 1-800-2-RAMADA.
How do you keep up with everything that happens in the NHL every day? You keep your eye on us. NHL Tonight, the ultimate half-hour wrap-up of the day that was the NHL. Tuesday through Saturday at 11:30 or after the game, only on ESPN2.
Sunny and 70 on the outside. A gorgeous day in New York in the spring that got here far too late in the Northeast. We are inside the theater at Madison Square Garden for day 2 of the NFL Draft. We had 3 trades in the first 4 picks, so a lot of moving by teams early on. Here are some of the trades.
We'll announce the trades here in just a second. The Washington Redskins have made their 4th-round selection. Heath Irwin, guard from Colorado. Heath Irwin, guard from Colorado. So that was the New England Patriots selection. The Redskins are on the clock. The trade that involved pick number 98, in which Donnie Edwards was selected, Miami gave up the 4th-round choice, number 98, and their 7th-round choice in 1997 to Kansas City for the choice Kansas City had obtained from Jacksonville, number 113 overall, Jacksonville's supplemental pick, and Kansas City's own pick in the 4th round, number 125 overall. So Miami gave up pick number 98 and their 7th-round choice in 1997 for pick number 113 and 125 in round 4.
So Jimmy Johnson can't sit
choice
still trade.
Number 99, where Phillips Daniels was selected. Jacksonville gave up that choice, the one they detained for the Giants, number 99 overall, for Seattle's 4th, number 110 overall, and Seattle's 5th, number 146 overall. So it was choice number 99 from Jacksonville to Seattle for choices 110 and 146. The Redskins remain on the clock.
And this may be hard for you to figure out at home. Why are people moving up 16 slots, 8 slots? There's a guy out there that they want to get their hands on and want to ensure that they can get them. I know the trading got a little confusing. This should simplify it. Some of the picks, the last 6 picks, we mentioned Donnie Edwards, then Philip Daniels to Seattle via the trade. We'll talk about Jeff Lewis in a minute, and then Heath Irwin, the guard out of Colorado. His uncle is Hale Irwin, who has the lead going into the final round of the senior PGA event today. But back to Jeff Lewis, the quarterback out of Northern Arizona, Mel.
So you ran Steve Axman's offense very effectively at Northern Arizona. Good pocket passer, real good athlete. Throws the short intermediate pass very well. The question's going to be the deep outs, the long passes. Can he throw the ball effectively in those areas? But if you look at Steve Axman, here's a quarterback coach, an offensive coordinator that worked with Neil O'Donnell at Maryland, worked with Troy Aikman at UCLA. He's developed quarterbacks. This kid can move the pocket, he can throw on the move. I'll tell you, this is a football player that had he not broken his right collarbone towards the end of the season, then he missed the postseason All-Star games and the combine workout, he could have possibly been looking at a 2nd or 3rd round pick. So I think what Denver's saying here is we got good value as a developmental quarterback to maybe be the heir apparent to John Elway.
John Elway signed a 5-year deal that'll take him through the rest of his contract. Mel and I were with Lewis in California, and he feels pretty healthy. He feels that the collar of the shoulder has healed pretty well.
He feels he's 100%. We were with him last week, and he looked good. He looked like he was back. He felt confident during his workout. He feels when he gets to training camp, he will be throwing the ball as well as he did early on this season before he broke his right collarbone.
Let's bring in Chris Fowler and company back at our ESPN studios. Chris.
Okay, Mike, so Jeff Lewis, another attempt, Mike Lombardi, for the Broncos to find that developmental quarterback, a follow-up to the disastrous draft choice of Tommy Maddox a couple of years ago out of UCLA as a sophomore. But you think, Lewis, this is a great fit for him?
Well, I think he doesn't have to come in and play right away, obviously, with John Elway being there. Bill Musgrave will be the backup quarterback next year going into the season, and Jeff gets to come in, gets to spend some time with Mike Shanahan, learn the offense, and develop. And as a fourth-round pick, I think he can develop and to grow and eventually becoming a player down the road for the Broncos.
So he will be the starter at some point, do you believe? I mean, unlike Maddox?
Well, I think it's very difficult to predict who can be the starter. I don't think when Washington picked Stan Humphries in the 6th round, they eventually thought he was going to be the starter for some team. They liked him, and they thought he could develop. And I think that's the case. I think this guy's got the talent to develop. It's going to be how he handles his development, and obviously having Mike Shanahan there is going to help his development.
He's got a few years. John Elway signed until the age of 40. Don't know if he'll play that long, but he's got that big $29 million contract. Now down to Chris Myers. Chris?
All right, thank you very much, Chris. The New Orleans Saints went all defense yesterday. Of course, they started with Alex Molden, Brady Smith, somebody they relate to, a guy like Bryce Popp. When you look at the same stage coming out of college, he's the WAC player that they think can become that kind of player for them. The Saints also defensively in the free agent market signed Darren Mickle, Fred Stokes, and Mark McMillan, so they've addressed those areas. They just made their pick moments ago. They have 7 picks today, including that pick, and they're going to be thinking of offense and going after offense. Speaking of offense, Hugh Millen, they are working out the specific terms of finalizing a deal. He'll be the backup quarterback for Jim Everett. Now let's go to Mike Tirico.
Okay, Chris Myers, and as everyone saw, Ricky Whittle from Oregon was the selection that just flashed on the bottom of our screen. This was a team that was 28th in running the ball last year, so you have to find an answer. Derek Brown, Lorenzo Neal, where's the answer going to be? And they potentially hope it would be Ricky Whittle out of Oregon. We want to move back a couple of selections in this draft. Stephen Davis, big back out of Auburn, taken by the Washington Redskins.
He was always productive. He was a great high school player in Spartanburg, South Carolina, tremendous highly publicized recruit. You saw his production, and this is a guy that led the SEC in rushing, had a great career. He was utilized more in the passing game, wasn't utilized as much as a back this year because, of course, with Terry Bowden, they opened things up. You see his ability. He's a 235-pounder with good straight-ahead speed. I think what you see with Stephen Davis, when he operated in an I formation or a one-back, you get that chance to get that big body in motion. I think in a split backfield, the question's going to be, can he read the blocking? Can he have the quickness to a hole to be effective? And I think that's going to be the question that the Redskins hope that he will be able to answer once he gets into the NFL.
Strong size, Stephen Davis, running back out of Auburn, now moving to the Washington Redskins. We want to take it down to Tampa Bay and bring in Andrea Kramer. Andrea.
Hi there, guys. We're having a few technical difficulties, but that's okay. Stephen Davis happened to be a player that the Bucs were strongly considering. Now they're in a position where they're going to have to go defensive back, which continues to be a need. They've gotten the tackle on offense. An offensive guard would also be a possibility. Going back to their need for defensive backs, one thing to consider is that they only have 3 players on their entire roster who have ever had any NFL game experience at defensive back. In addition, sort of a sad story we wanted to mention today, Charles Dimry, the cornerback, his wife has leukemia. She's officially in remission, but she's been back in the hospital. Certainly a concern about how focused he'll be able to be this season. So sometime today, they want to be able to address their need at defensive back, and hopefully they will be able to do that. Right now, let's head back to Mike Tirico.
The personal side of that story obviously more important, but the insignificant in retrospect on the football field. They were 26th in pass defense last year. Tony Dungy hopes to change that. The Buccaneers are the team on the clock. We continue from New York on day 2 of the draft. Don't go away.
Things break every day.
They shatter.
They fall.
They spill.
They smash.
They break down every day.
So we thought it might be nice to keep our prices low every day on things you might need every day. We understand you can't wait for a 3-day weekend for things to go on sale.
Because things don't wait for a 3-day weekend to break.
True Value. Help is just around the corner.
Today, it is the shortest track on the circuit. To win at the tight flat track of Martinsville, you've got to go fender to fender all day long. The Goodies Headache Powders 500, today at 1, only on ESPN.
Oh, your stomach is about in your throat, you know, and your heartbeat is about bazillion pumps per second.
People talk about butterflies, but it's like in a knot before the game.
Somehow you got to calm yourself down. You know that the ball is coming.